and I'm all for it. I want to see what they're going to bring out.
Yes, sir. Draw on the cards and see what you did there, Mana Class. I like it. I like it already. Rochester Institute Technology, RIT on the left here. Choco Man, SL, Link FD, Blue Jay Actual, and ZP Link. Would you run through Wichita State for me?
Yeah, we got Dynamite and Flexecution. They're right there on the DPS together with Fluffy Butley, Gallagher, Gil on the tank line, and Seed and Foxicon on that support line. You can already see there's no difference between these teams beside those off tanks. That Diva versus that Zarya could make a big difference. And you eat the grabs, you're going to get bopped.
Yeah, SL off the top here. An early wall, not going to get too much done with it. Both of these teams, wow, okay, we're just kind of feeling each other out. That's going to be Fluffy falling. Main tank deleted for Wichita State, and we know how the rest of this one's going to go.
It's the complete deletion out of that one. It's not easy losing your tank that early, and that wall, while it might not have seemed like it did a lot, it was definitely a slow down maneuver. You did see that Wichita was kind of getting confused about, oh, is everyone here? What's going on? And then their own wall didn't quite work out. Now they're going to have to come back into this being the team that can get walled off much easier because they have to make those rotations themselves.
Yeah, but walls and walls here. This is Link FD trying to make it through here. Swings and more. That's smart, actually, for Kellic to have gotten back here. Nasty stun. Link FD relying on the last little bit of this Reinhardt shield. Is a lot coming more through here. ZP Link puts out that window early. A lot of nice investment, and Wichita State's forced to back up for the time being. Dynamite trying to get some damage in edgewise. Continued on. Everybody's focused. Nice wall. That's going to be a grab on top. A full 6. Invincibility shield is out, and that's actually going to be RIT that's not able to take a single pick off the top of this. But I spoke too soon. Not one but two tanks down. May the tank 2.5 taken out as well. The rest of Wichita State going to take a dive.
Unfortunately, Wichita State's not coming on too hot in this first point. They do have a fair few ultimates in the bank right now. So if there was any fight where they could make it, it would be this one. And the percentage is ticking up. So they definitely need to make a move in a near few seconds.
Blue Jays. Grav got a solid amount of value towards the beginning, forcing out abilities and more. Not anything they're going to have on the board here today. Window for Seed out here. Foxconn still got her sound barrier. That's a nice blizzard. That's a nice blizzard right there. Charge coming in from Link FD. Followed up with a shatter. That's just going to be some kills on top of this Sunday here. 87%. Don't think they'll be able to get back to this one really, like, formatively.
Definitely doesn't seem like it. There's so much ultimate still available for Rochester, and they could just CC this out. Wichita, not going to be this one that they're going to take away, but luckily, it's not a done deal just yet, and definitely more points to come after this one.
Fluffy getting stunned out of that shatter. Last little hope and dream might be going away. Choco Man did get deleted, so Rochester Institute Technology is down by 1. SL getting on in here, coming out of freeze, maybe a little bit early as well as the charge coming in. Link FD has had Fluffy's absolute number this entire game, Mana Class.
Not been able to get through the entire time. Just a solo shatter to get the ice on the cake.
Yeah.
I knew to finish it off, and that's the rounds. Yeah, Rochester Institute of Technology, we were expecting them to do their job, and they did their job extremely well to start off with. Now, it's only round 1. I'm not calling it early, but that was definitely looking like a very dominant showing. Big deal, of course, is that there is that very tight choke point that you have to get through on University. With those May walls, with that tight play that Rochester is displaying, I'm not surprised that Wichita State University had such a tough time getting through. And that's not necessarily the same story on this map. Much more room for flanking, a lot more avenues to approach, and you already see the composition is changing slightly. Gonna get Flexecution on the Sombra now, so a lot of those execution plays could be disrupted for RIT. Not the easiest one to get through sometimes, but it all depends on those hacks and EMPs.
100% agreed. How Flexecution plays this Sombra will determine the pacing of this game and really what Rochester can get done ultimately. Get a hack out on this main tank or something like that, there's gonna be money. Tempted off here at the top. Actual decides against diving in there. Incredibly heavy early. Now walls out. That's invulnerability field from ZP Link invested. Seed as well. Seed falls shortly thereafter. Actually, Boops and more. So this is a pretty even team fight. The most even team fight we've gotten so far here in Flex. Just kind of making us worry a little bit on that one. Still had the transponder, got off to it. Boop coming through here, should be, that's the Baby Diva out. Baby Diva not deleted quite yet, but Dynamite is going to go that way. Now Blue Jay and the rest of RIT. Again, this is not a handed win by any means.
Oh, and they're not done yet. These respawns are going to matter a lot, and that health pack being hacked makes such a big difference for Flexecution. 60% up to that EMP, it's going to make a big difference, and maybe that High Noon can play a role.
Would not be surprised. Fluffy on the other side now has his shadow. That was Link that we saw just a second ago, but Blue Jays just got the numbers of these players. The tank lineup of RIT is just absolutely rolling right now.
They're really doing a great job of it, and it's I'm not gonna say they're the hard carrying right now. It's also a matter if they got back quicker with the right ultimates. But it's very much a case of the location where they're fighting, because there was that high ground going on with all these small corridors and structures around it. There wasn't the opportunity for a full 6-on-6 team fight, and as soon as they got back to the objective, you saw that dominant stance from Rochester coming in again.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Really, in this matchup, there's only been one true 6v6, and the last that was kind of towards the beginning as well, but just completely different geographical changes between map to map. There has been that so far. Flexecution out of the hack. That's a couple taken in on this, but RIT ever the cool hand on here, and they just keep it together. Estel does fall on this one, so no Blizzard for the time being, but here comes our grab. We've seen what that can happen, what that can do. ZP Link, actually the Baptiste here is getting a huge chunk on pretty much everybody. Yes, that was assisted by Blue Jay, but it just makes my heart feel good to see these supporters get on the left side of that kill feed.
You really do, but you also gotta feel bad for the supports on Wichita, because Seed and Foxicon were so close to their ultimates, but couldn't quite get it on time for that big combo. Because that Graviton is really where you want that sound barrier to be alive for, and unfortunately, sound barrier didn't get hacked out on actual, and Foxicon never got it online. Those support ultimates make a difference.
Yeah, sad song if that wasn't time's over. Oh man, that's another sad one as well. It tries to change the weather. That's Essel. Nobody's gonna. So not actually gonna take a kill for that. But as we hear, we got the quintuple, I believe, from Essel. A full team kill. That's gonna be the first team kill belt of this game. Now they gonna have enough time to get back at this. 85 now, 86.
Look, as a bit of a May aficionado myself, I can appreciate when someone has the skills to pull off those right clicks like Essel is doing. It's actually monstrous the way they're pulling those headshots off, and Wichita really has to be careful about those.
Ox sound barrier off the top, trying to change the time here is Dynamite. Not gonna find it. Yep, there you go. Now here's the other way around, though. This might be a different story. May down bottom isn't gonna be able to stay in that for long. Oh, a perfectly timed wall keeps Death, Doom, and Destruction on the other side. Love to see it. 9-9 now, as Wichita hasn't fallen anybody quite yet. Neither is RIT. Now getting zoned out is Kellic. Dynamite falls. That might be the beginning of this. Blue Jay gonna try and get that grab out. That is a grab in it, and that's the last members of Wichita. We're staring down the barrel of a 2-0, 100 to 0, 100 to 0 situation here, man.
That was close to turning. A big point in that last fight was Dynamite not quite getting that flank off correctly. You saw that beautiful flank flashbang going on to both supports. Could have maybe cut either Lucio or the Baptiste out, but just missed those shots. And that kind of tells me that Wichita might not just be fully warmed up, maybe little of those like early game jitters. I'm very much looking forward to seeing if they can overcome those, maybe come back, maybe not go for a reverse sweep, but definitely show a bit closer of a game, because that 100 to 0, it was fairly convincing. It wasn't like there was a lot of room to come back into that for Wichita.
That's fair. That's fair. Just reporting the news here. There's not really a whole lot of benefit to be drawn from statistically. Can't be worse, 100 to 0, 100 to 0. Now, Wichita, like you said, they had some flashes in the pan, no pun intended with the flashbangs and the McCree, but seriously, we saw a lot of grit. A lot of versatility out of these McCrees. But that was Dynamite mostly playing that one and playing up front, really brawly, but is also willing to flank. That's a McCree I want on my team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't want your McCree to just stand back and try and be a sniper, because that's not what McCree is. He's closer and mid-range, needs to be getting in there sometimes. Sometimes you have to get that support from your tank, but maybe sometimes it's the option. Go for the flank, go for the unexpected angle, and maybe you can get value out of it. Didn't really work out this time, but on other maps might be doing more so. High ground could become more of a factor. And of course, if you have more time on a map, like you don't have on Control, you can get proper attacks and defenses, well, then there might also be a different outcome in how you play it. And Numbani is, of course, such a map. Very much expect to see a little bit more mobility come out of this one. The high ground always plays a huge role. And that rush comp, as cool as it is, it doesn't always get away with everything when they can't contest that high ground properly.
That's entirely fair. Numbani is entirely surrounded up until the very last points with high ground situations. I would be almost, I'll say, I would be surprised if we don't see a Dynamite McCree on here at some point. Now, off the top might be a different story, but yeah, okay. So at least showing that so far, we will not go with that. I think we've learned our lessons from trying to pre-call comps, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, at least what we do know is that they've switched sides right now, so we're getting Wichita come out of the gate. They are going to stick to this, what we currently just perceive to be the meta composition. That Mei, McCree, Reinhardt, Zarya, and then the Baptiste and the Lucio, B rush, B sustain, and just do a whole lot of damage. Rochester currently in spawn showing a little bit of a different look, especially with Essel now being on that Tracer, but not quite sure if they're going to stick with that. Blue Jay on the Diva, that is more likely. Because of that flank, because of that high ground that you can do, it's more likely they're actually going to try this, misplace people, get through the chokes okay, and try a few different angles than just rushing straight at them.
Yeah, I'm with it. I mean, Essel obviously can't know this, but he's really running into a comp that is pretty much all anti-Tracer all the time. Top part, looking for it. Damage in edgewise from Dynamite and more. Ella getting a little bit courageous here. That was an attempted wall, I thought. There's going to be an Immortality field off the top. Blue Jay feeling the fire from that one, but oh my goodness, Link FD already gets a shatter off. That leads to a lot, and Rochester Institute Technology is on the roll down bottom. Execution getting what he can done, but that's going to be it. Yeah.
You can just tell how many fire strikes Link gets off. It's not just the hammer swings; it's those fire strikes that get through and hit like 4 people at the same time. That's where he gets most of that ult charge out. And then Butley on the other side doesn't quite get the same value and often dies early. I'm gonna try and find out where that support lacks or where that value comes from. A lot of it is likely just target focused.
Yeah, shifting attention and really being able to consolidate damage is a huge thing in this game in any. Essel doing a good job so far. There's Tracer Bomb out. That's going to be dedicated onto the Immortality field off top, and that's going to be a huge usage. Foxconn fall into a well-placed headshot. Seed as well. So the Wichita State University supports instantly deleted.
Well, Link has lapped him. He's got a shatter up, and Fluffy hasn't got the first one yet. That's Fluffy but Deadly not quite getting it out there. We'll see if they're able to actually get a shatter off this round so far. They're getting close.
Oh my!
But Link has already got the second one online. It's insane. He's just
that took me a second to realize what you were saying. Like that is a 100% a fantastic point here. Now the Shatter self-destruct combo is online. Shatter doesn't really vibe that well with Grav because I mean essentially still doing the same or similar things. Wall's out here, and that's going to be mostly zoned out from Chaco. A grab on the end, and that's only going to be Link FD. So yes, they got the grab, but really at what cost? Essel, nice headshots, continuing that up with execution. Continued shoutouts on the Mei performance there on that one. Wichita State fighting this one down to teeth and bones. Nails as well as Tracer Bomb comes out. Essel not going to find anything on that one. Actual ZP Link done, dusted. The supports from Rochester gone, so I think that Wichita State is stabilized for one of the first times in this matchup.
All they need to do is not get back cap right now. No, that's not happening. They got that Tracer out. Essel gone, and that was a very good engagement. And as well, the biggest part about that, Rochester used everything they had. They didn't hold back. They just didn't get it. And then Fluffy but Deadly, Dynamite, see, they all still have their ultimates online. If they're gonna have a hold, this is where it's gonna happen for at least 1 or 2 fights. That being said, it's Numbani Streets. We all know how Numbani Streets goes. You can't really hold here.
These streets are deadly indeed. Game in real life. Seed falling early is no bueno here either. Nicely done. Dynamite gets nothing from the 12 o'clock call. Trying to get damage in from up top as well. Choco Man is really giving a run for the money. There's the shatter. Fluffy but Deadly getting it down, but tries for the charge on the last. Not going to happen. Choco Man out here has this one in the McCree duel won by Dynamite in explosive fashion. Fluffy but Deadly, Dynamite, Foxconn all deleted. Wichita State still trying. Yeah, they had a solid shot at that mana class, but RIT, even without ultimates, still came out on top.
Still came out on top, and that's, I mean, it's very unfortunate for Wichita, because like I said, that was kind of the place where they could hold with those ultimates they have. Now the situation is just shifted. If not even, it's actually in favor of RIT. We're gonna see Link with another Shatter coming up, but Kellic has got that Graviton, which could be huge if it's not eaten.
Walls out first. Mix that with a Fire Strike from the likes of Fluffy but Deadly. It'll be money all day, 200 damage instantly. Smart retreat here. Smart retreat.
You have to. You just have to. Unless you put your own wall up and try and fight it, it's not gonna work. So now ZP will maybe throw it out.
Ooh, Link FD. Played enough Ryan in my time to know that that was prime Shatter territory, but that wall coming up instantly. Smart stuff. Really well read out by that. Link FD out here. Wizards as well. Not Wizards. Two of them! Choco Man now finds the biggest high noon ultimate value we've seen in this Wichita State RIT matchup so far. So still out here. Nicely done sending the self-destruct up top, but that like, it's good execution, but ultimately not going to have a good execution from Flexecution, if you'll forgive it.
I see a lot of these sort of standard combos that come out mid-fight. One really important one is Link FD consistently shattering when that Blizzard comes down from Flexecution. They just counter a lot. And they defend, they can't just get there in time.
Oh yeah, Fluffy but Deadly is technically touching, but that's not gonna be enough. Wow, yeah. Sound barriers after the Blizzards, and RIT just goes strolling on into last point. G47 on the clock as well. That's a major time.
We'll see if there is any difference coming out from the next round. Of course, Rochester Institute of Technology on the defense now. Wichita's got to show that they've got some attacking power. So far, they've been very reactive. They tried to go on the offensive a few times on that defense. They tried to make their initiative move, and that's good to do because, of course, if you set the pace, then you also decide when the fight starts, when the fight ends, all of that. But unfortunately, they couldn't quite find the right moment to initiate on, or Rochester just read it like a book. So we'll see if they have a better idea of how to do that on the attack, or whether Rochester is going to be the initiator again and just take that victory without much sweat.
I am with it. Not much in the way of team comp changes here. Really, the high ground utilization, that's what I'd like to talk about a little bit. Dynamite and Choco Man, there were multiple times we got to get those perspectives, really kind of going back and forth. Choco Man down bottom, looking at Essel, he kind of left him in the lurch there.
Yeah, for sure. Funny. It's super fun. It's always good to see a good DPS matchup where you just can see how they set up, how they do it differently, etc. And yeah, Choco Man and Dynamite, you know, they're doing their thing.
No, for real. Yeah, the May walls also just provide so much like kind of variety in this game, right? Like we see sim teleporters on it on top. We see the self-destructs utilized all the time. It again provides for a lot of different variety in this game. Kind of knocking on heaven's door here, if not willing to go all the way in. Eternal Salvation on the other side, or Eternal Damnation, who knows? I mean, that's the big question here, Mana Class.
Essel's waiting. Essel's just waiting. This is going to be a slaughter. There he is. There's the wall. Oh, no. I think they got through, maybe, most of them.
Oh, so maybe used, yeah, that big Reinhardt body to kind of block visual cues? Maybe, who knows? That's theory crafting at its worst at this point, my man. Kellic, Gil, and the rest of Wichita State now rotating down bottom. Smart plays here. Got a lot of damage up top now, getting the healing in edgewise from Seed, excuse me. So Link FD falling, so that was ZP Link not able to keep that one up. Window invested as well as Choco Man stays chilling up top. It's cool in the airs up here. That's a nice headshot as well. Choco Man gonna get, no, that was actual got, yeah, just, okay, so UI messed up a little bit, that's fine. 250 on here, Wichita State's spitting distance away from taking this point.
Yeah, it looks like they're just gonna take it as well. They did a very controlled attack on that top, like you said. They kind of, they at least were able to get through the wall with most, if not all, of their team. I think it was at least 4 or 5 of them. And then they actually played very controlled up there. They didn't just try and rush in and get it. They're going to try and get the follow-up on this. First, get the Baptiste and the Reinhardt out. This is what you want to see. This is how Numbani Streets is supposed to go. Just rush through, get that forward momentum, and make sure they can't actually set up for a defense, because then you might be able to set a record time, at least to get the second. And Wichita all of a sudden is looking like a different unit. Very confident, very controlled, very, well, just as a unit. Not so much as the individual plays, and they're using their abilities in a great fashion.
Team-based game. Team-based game, that's how you play it. Love to see it. Love to see it. Wichita State, again, I think at this point we can kind of chalk away that game 1, that map 1 performance. And now that's a decent wall, but yeah, the the big solver to that is just falling down. Now wall up top, Dynamite gets solo shattered and taken out, so 5-6, but that's okay because SL drops this Blizzard, and this is just an absolute shooting gallery here for SL.
They're in such a great place. That's so unfortunate. Because look at what they still have left. Look at what they could have used in that fight up there. You know, sound barrier shattered, their own Blizzard, a high noon if they were in the right position. It's a shame. But I mean, hey, it helped for them. It's SL
is doing nothing for Choco Man right now. Choco Man is like literally like looked at him and shaking his head every time one of these walls comes out because Choco Man wants to join his friend up top. SL will not have it. He doesn't like hanging. 337 right here is Dynamite going on the flank. There's an early Blizzard. ZP Link not able to get out of this one. Link FD is incredibly close, so main support deleted, main tank following suit, and Wichita State is now on the team. There's a rolling. Need to put 3 on. Yeah, there you go.
Definitely. I mean, at least they won another fight, and they're going to be able to get this payload here. There's no time to recontest. That's the danger of Numbani Streets. That third respawn is very far away. But they're going to be able to advance further on. They still have something in the pocket. I do want to see what Rochester is going to do with their self-destruct. They haven't really found a lot of value so far. It's been a lot of good defense against it from Wichita, and it usually comes out at more of a reactive late mid-fight tool. Maybe they can initiate with it somehow.
And with
this is a great spot for it, at least.
That's a really good wall as well off the top. Seed investing that immortality field early. Grab eaten. Blue Jay has a full stomach right now. Now getting hyper aggressive. There's a self-destruct over the top. The pull shot lands. Does not get anything after a well-timed bubble projected and self from Helic Gill here. Link FD getting aggressive. And that's going to be just some cleanup action now for RIT.
Just unfortunate. I really was hoping that self-destruct would get a little bit more, but it was kind of used in a position where that fight was already over. I mean, they still have 5 other ultimates, so it's not like they needed it. It's still, you know, you want to see them make those cool plays, and Diva Bombs can be incredibly successful. Now, is Foxicon going to be able to get that sound barrier up in time? Because otherwise it's going to be an Old Storm that won't survive.
Yeah, it really is. Actual has that on the other. Yeah, just the straight up old difference right now. Going down in the freeze for SL. Sound barrier lands just in the nick of time. Nicely done. Freeze and more onto the opposing main tank, and SL cannot get out of dodge. DPS deleted from both of these squads as Fluffy Bud Ledley follows suit. Rochester Institute Technology on the defense. Now getting hyper aggressive with it, because why not?
Yeah, if you can, why wouldn't you? I mean, you have 3 minutes more to hold. Might as well try and get as many fights and as many well, devastating fights especially out of it, because the more you can break down their mental, the better. That being said, you can break down their mental, but you can break down their ult economy. That's what they do have to do themselves by pressing Q.
Absolutely. At the end of the day now, Wichita cannot take it with more time, so Rochester at the least will be playing this one, and Blue Jay eats again. Blue Jay eats with a TL. 230 on this one is now looking to come back a little bit. Link FD does fall on this, but Flexecution getting taken out by their counterpart on this one. Choco Man also taken out by the counterpart, charging more onto SL on this, and now Wichita State. This has just been absolutely back and forth, my man.
It really has been. I will say though, if Blue Jay can eat more than one grav, that's on your Zarya at some point, because if she eats 1, it's an accident. If she eats 2, you just didn't place it right. But they do make it to the end. 2 minutes on the clock and 2:41 for Rochester. They're gonna go again. And we'll see what that changes things, because their defense for Wichita wasn't looking great. I don't think they ever even won 1 fight. But Rochester's wasn't looking that hot either. It's they won maybe 1 or 2 fights, and that's about it. So the difference is all going to be who can replicate their result is best or better.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, it's interesting because you're 100% right, man, in class. RIT absolutely rolled on their offense. There weren't really many opportunities for Wichita State that they took to really stop them. At the end of the day, both teams make it all the way, and RIT only has 40 extra seconds. So 2 minutes on board, that's plenty of time to get this done. Now, maybe not enough time to run all the way to the end, enough time to get a couple points.
Yeah, and I mean, we see changes come out now from Rochester. Coming out with an Echo and a Junkrat. It's the big DPS lineup change. And I guess they just want to spam it down. They just want to throw a lot of damage in their way and be like, you know what? If you want to try and fight us, then we'll just throw so many projectiles your way that you don't even want to fight us anymore. or well, you can never get to us without accruing too much damage and harm. Whether Wichita will be ready for that or be able to adapt to that, I don't know, but they'll at least get more than one fight to do so, if necessary.
With it. Real quick, I'm actually curious. You're from the Netherlands, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Do they have spam there? Like, they actually sell spam, like cans and stuff like that?
I
can't
think
imagine.
so, but we don't call it. We don't call it that. But we do have something similar. I'm pretty sure.
Got it. Spam down the middle, like the man called. This is going to be such a tough effort getting through, and Wichita State realizes that and gets on out of. I'm not sure if pushing that is really the idea.
They need to be quick. They need to be really quick and go another route, and before the Junkrat can get down there and start spamming. And he's there. He made it.
There you go. All the value in the world already. Traps out as well. Yep, and the rest of RIT just absolutely cleaning up. Now that is the most effective defense we've seen so far. The second team kill Bell of this matchup.
You need to be really quick about that. I mean, they have a Lucio for a reason. That Lucio is all there to just get them into space really quickly. Either it's through the enemy or around the enemy. And that rotation speed, it just wasn't fast enough. They had the D.Va, like Blue Jay was scouting that out, and they saw it coming. They're like, guys, just drop down, just spam in the corridor, and we'll be fine. They're going to send Killa Gil up there now because they, of course, had the defense matrix to stop, and it's working out so far.
It's working out very well. Link FD actually kind of left out in the lurch here, shattered down, so that's going to alleviate the pressure for time being, and there's a tire just rolling over 3. 35 seconds on this, but Fluffy but Deadly and Kellic both find a couple. That's not going to be anywhere near enough without these supports online, and now we're looking at a stagger of the century.
This is going to be a very tough one. If you try and jump off the map, oh, they get the boop out. Yeah, just this D.Va is going to be barely back before they're able to make it close to the point for the next fight, but this is the last one. Hail Mary efforts incoming. They have some ultimates to work with. You would really like that sound barrier, but it's just going to be a shatter for now, and Kellic is going to switch over to the Wrecking Ball to make it in time.
There's the touch as well. Shatter out. Shatter does not land. Flex Seed, both done. I believe that's going to be it for Wichita State's push. I don't want to call it too early, because the sound barrier does land, but sound barriers on both sides equal out. Nobody on RIT probably falling for this one. Foxconn getting a really good kind of positioning on that one to not fall from the self-destruct, but again, don't think that's going to be enough. Beta class.
Gonna get some DPS touch, and another tank maybe comes in or support, but it's all just feeding extra kills over. Just before the overtime bar drops, there it goes. Gonna be a round complete. Not over just yet. Could still be a draw, but 241, the way that Rochester has been playing, it kind of looks like that defense was a fluke. They're going to be able to hold on strong for this one, or actually attack strong. It's their turn. Yep. But 241 should be plenty to take that one tick.
Yeah, if we get interviews after this for RIT, if they do win, again, we only get winners in the interview box. We'll definitely have to ask about kind of what changed or whatever, because I'm searching for an answer myself. But 241. Like you said, plenty of time to get a single third of progress, a single tick of progress on this.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, you brought up my Dutch heritage. I'm just gonna say it. What changed is that they brought out the cheese and it won. No. It's not exactly what happened. Like they obviously it's not that simple, but a Junkrat and an Echo can definitely do a lot of easy damage in those small spaces. So going for those over the May and the McCree is I wouldn't say it's an easy choice, but it's definitely a choice that you could call cheese if you really wanted to. It's not quite the Bastion Torbjorn, but it's still fun. It's still it's very effective.
At the end of the day, like the skill level that it takes to get picks with your May, your McCree, just maybe not so as hard with, like we said, the spam. Just simply write down the chokehold right there. Echo, Junkrat, that's some money all day. Now we got the Flexecution Torb though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of Torbjorn, there he is, bringing it out. I'm all for it. Let's see what he can bring to the table. It's gonna definitely try and prevent Essel from getting a lot of value, because that Tracer hates a turret shooting at her. Gotta get that going. Of course, you take the high ground first, see if they can get through, and it looks like they at least get an easy walkthrough.
Yeah, so it's just a ever so temporary shift in attention for a half of a second yields them entryway, and then they're dead upon arrival. Wichita State holds strong with the first defense.
And it makes sense, right? Because you see that Essel is kind of scouting it out. It says, well, they don't have a May, so you can just walk through without being walled off. And then they just instantly make that move with the speed boosts. But there is the May from Essel at least. See if they can wall something off or out. Maybe can try wall away the turret. Or they're going to go for a weirder strat. We all remember Meta Athena going over the bus to the other high ground, but that's not what they're going to do. They're going to go through the high ground again.
Again, May just makes this game so much more interesting when it comes to rotations. Fluffy but Deadly ejected from the party. Bouncer in here, and he is out. Minute 30 or so, moving for Boops as Blue Jays gets down to 17, which is basically 1 when you're talking about D.Va. There's the boop we were looking for on both main tanks here. Link FD and Fluffy but Deadly take a long walk off the short pier as Actual gets another one on this. Some fantastic Lucio play. I love to see it. Minute 15, Rochester trying to rotate on here, and there's the Molten Core. Execution keeping the dream alive for the time being, and a boop kill, but not an environmental kill from Actual. That corner to Actual's right now is one of the most goated Lucio positions in this game. One of those corners that just can be played on endlessly. Now here comes the high noon, and that drops just in time. Foxconn not able to live through this one. Fluffy but Deadly doesn't have a wall for it, and that's going to be RIT again with a handed win, but not anywhere near our Oasis map.
No, that was a lot closer, and it actually could have gone both ways, that last one right there. That fight could have maybe gone to a draw. Unfortunately for Wichita, that's not the case, so we're ending these first 2 maps in a 2-0 scoreline. One more map, and it's going to be Volskaya, of course. So I'm not going to say that it's over just yet. Volskaya definitely a map very much like Numbani, where you have more of that leeway of back and forths. But if they're going to continue this performance, we might be seeing a 4 or 6 round Volskaya map, and that would be super exciting.
I'd be about it. I like Volskaya. I got nothing against it, you know?
Same.
I mean, there's no Horizon Lunar Colony. There's a reason Horizon Lunar Colony has been changed. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a play-by-play. I don't count that high. We're going to be heading to a quick break here, unless Mana Class is something else for you good people.
No, after the break, we can talk all about those next few maps. For now, go enjoy a little bit of a beverage. We'll be right back.
And we are back. A short break it was. FBI Tugboat here. Got Juke around there, somewhere in the meta space producing, and we do appreciate that. We got Mana Class here, having the color commentary with me. Appreciate it. What are we looking at? Give the good people a little recap just in case they're joining us, Mana Class.
Look, we've seen Rochester Institute of Technology do a fantastic job of winning those first two maps. Oasis was almost no contest. Numbani got a little bit closer, but it still seems like they are just coming out as the better team today. It is no surprise they are the number one team in the standings currently, only dropping 2 maps out of 45. But Wichita is starting to put up a little bit of a fight. So Volskaya is the perfect battleground to bring us next to potentially, I would say, start a reverse sweep, but at least maybe give him that third map loss. It's possible.
Yeah, so like Man of Class said, if the reverse sweep is going to happen, has to start right here. At the end of the day, I think that this just game mode, geographically, more similar to your Numbani map. Wichita State, just reporting the news here, y'all. It went 0 to 100, or 0 to 100 in both maps of our first Oasis map. If that is any indicator, kind of like what they prefer game type geographically, kind of map-wise, then maybe Volskaya will be their saving grace. Who knows? RIT is showing right now a bit of a different comp, we'll say.
They might go for the double barrier. They might teleport through and then set up the bastion. But of course, they're going to debate us. They're going to go for the tried and true. And I mean, it could have been a fun strategy. Definitely could if it's more of a King's Road type, maybe. But it works on Volskaya if you can get the teleport in the right spot. But yeah, it's going to be the mirror match aside from that Zarya Diva matchup. Both walls just stacking on top of each other like they want to close up the borders. For now, it's going to be a 6v6, just straight up.
Absolutely. Link FD barely getting away and back. Seed, Mortality Field, Dunzo. Walls again right next to each other. There'll be chain links here. 30 on the top as RIT is still trying to find a way in edgewise. Nobody really close to ultimate except for, of course, ZP Link, who now has that online. Setting up this window for Link FD will be huge, and every single time they just get a wall in their face. Not a very hospitable hosts, we'll say. Dynamite getting frozen out there after a fan the hammer inside the Mortality Fields. Kellic is not able to live through this one, and yep, there you go. RIT with their third team kill bell of the day. C dropped that wall as well. That's going to be bad breaks.
Once again, Fluffy but deadly, not getting that shatter up in time to contest with Link. Big part of that entire engagement, though, were those walls. Every single time Essel did the first wall, and then Flexecution dropped it defensively. Then that one time that Flexecution drops it first, they just overpower them straight away. It's one of those trends. Just keep the formula working if it hasn't failed yet, and they changed it.
Don't fix it if it ain't broke. That's what we say down here in the south. Same sentiment expressed. Oh man, that is... Okay, I was gonna... Wait, hang on. Chaka Man just abandons that? Frozen players in front of him all the way? The sound barrier did help out, so maybe that's where that is going. Fluffy but Deadly now gets the attention of a Deadly McCree here. As we see a flashbang hit, not one but two, but again, he kind of abandons the targets there. Takes out his counterpart on the end, ball out, spin to win engage, not gonna happen. Maybe more like spin to stall for a quarter of a second. 5 minutes here.
That's what we call a statement. That's all we call a statement. Just saying, guys, I know we did a little bit of a boo-boo here and there in Numbani. It wasn't as smooth as we wanted it to be, but this is just us back to form. Took 2 minutes and 5 seconds to complete that map because you get a 7 total and 4:55. Obviously, 2 minutes and 5 seconds less. Maybe seeing if Wichita has what it takes to at least take both points, but hopefully with some time on the board. Otherwise, this could be a series that's over after 3 maps. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility and not something we didn't expect to happen, but it is definitely maybe a bit of more of a gap than I would have expected from these teams.
That's fair, right? A 10-5 Wichita State University. Both of these teams coming in from the independent conference as well. I don't think we talked too much about that, but really, yeah, I mean, what you take a look at the standings, man. There are only 2 teams in the top 10 or the top 9, I guess we'll say. That are not independent conferences, that are MAC conferences, and that's Marist, of course, that we see later, St. Peter's, that we will see later. Wichita State coming in at, what, 1, 2, 3, 5th, technically at 10-5. So independent conference really coming through and shining, especially in the top of these leaderboards. So there's no real surprise to me this is an electrifying matchup, but at a 15-0, again, you said it earlier, 43 maps won, 2 maps lost.
Yeah, it's really almost inconceivable that anyone would take them down. But yeah, I mean, they can bleed. We've seen them lose a few maps in the standings, so it's possible. Wichita now coming in hard, the wall blocking off a few members, but they get through with a defensive one.
Essel has a number right here. It's not often that you see a Zarya just kind of turn tail away from a Mei like that, and not at close quarters. But seriously, you mentioned it earlier. Essel has just been absolutely dinking these guys. Headshots left, right, and center, finding him like lint in the pocket. ZP Link deleted, Seed following suit. Both main supports from this one deleted out for the time being. Nice boop there as the Fire Strike attempted on the Foxicon. Good job getting out of that for the time being, but this is just going to be RIT, again, said earlier, back in full form.
They are dwindling numbers a little bit, and the respawns for the attack are closer, so they could make a very quick push while Rochester is still split, which is the case right now. But they do need to do it as a unit. They can't go in one by one, because then they'll just play into their cards.
It's fair. It's fair. A stacked deck it will be indeed. At the end of the day, Rochester gets up first point, as we all know. Like, it's more so going to be on that second one. Wichita will still have their work cut out for them. All invested early. Seed out there. Essel actually finding some nasty damage from the side that he did not expect. Dynamite deleted. Flashbang and more. Down is the Diva as well. So Blue Jay gets a lot of attention. Instantly deleted as well. But this is decently even here, Mana Class. Wall up. Now Blizzard out. This is going to be covering a lot of this point. Link FD gets caught in it. And Wichita State's all over this one. We're thinking this is, except for this Diva, we're thinking that's definitely more just get on back. And this baby Diva, okay. No, I guess the normal idea would be to jump off the side, but I guess it's only 150, not that much old charge.
Now I think they can maybe get back in, but it's not happening.
Yeah, now a lot more old charge given up to Wichita State on there. Fluffy but Deadly was not at 99, now 100 before this.
I mean, they also bought some time, so you gotta trade off, saying like, do we get some time to regroup on B, which we will, because you have a very short respawn, or, you know, what's more important to us, because they already have more of a time bank themselves now. See if the Blizzard of Essel can make that difference, because Kelek Gil can definitely not eat it.
Sound there first, Blizzard second. Freeze is attempted. Everybody from Wichita actually got away from that one. Fluffy but Deadly kind of left it alert. There's the grab as well. Immortality Field held for it. Great job by ZP Link there. Dynamite Seed both finding one themselves. Main tank down, and Choco Man does not finish the fanning of the hammer. No 12 o'clock for you, my friend. Rochester's going to be fighting to get back at this one. That's actual up top. Nobody's really able to get there to take this one out. This will be a contest from him at the least. There, playing corners really well. Essel now on the Doomfist, not against that one, but gets absolutely dusted once he hits the ground. No fly zone here. 350 on the board, and 80%. Execution falling. Gonna be a big source of damage. That's a charge for the Sentry, though, as Fluffy but Deadly showing up against... There you go, and Dynamite falling. He wasn't able to get back behind this one. I think this is the slow burn applied by Rochester Institute of Technology. That's gonna be enough to stop this push in its tracks.
Is those few tiny picks that come through, that contest that just comes to just in time, that just really make the difference. I mean, imagine if Dynamite throws out Deadeye, like 3 seconds later, then maybe get the Lucio early, and then actual contest, and the rest doesn't come in on time. Like, there's so many of these chain events in a row. The self-destruct as well, the fact that it gets Dynamite, big deal. The McCree's still alive, there's a flashbang, then Essel can't do as much. But now they're gonna go in hard, they have a Blizzard, see if it gets eaten or not.
Wall out first. Execution knows that that's going to be money. There's a Blizzard to try and separate. 2, 3 taken in there, I think. Rav at the end as well. Actual sitting on the outside looking in. Smart jobs from this Lucio. Again, going to be contesting for the time being. Probably should have waited to play the hand on that one. There is a Blue Jay Diva on the other side. That baby Diva is not going to last at all. That's going to be a ball now. Spin to stall at least. Fortify, not going to get anything done on here. Now player is back. Essel here. Essel jumps up. The uppercut gets him to the top, but not what he wanted. Punch on the Flexecution and sends him rocketing into the side. That's going to be a couple, or the single pick Flexecution. That's going to be Wichita State taking this. They do not have the respawns on this, my friend.
I mean, not yet, but ball's still there, and balls can be very stally here.
Wait.
See if that Wrecking Ball can do it. No, it's going to be the Tracer coming back. No, they're not going to get it. They needed picks. They didn't get them. It was close, though. They were almost getting there.
No, that's
gotta
really
get 2
fair.
minutes for Wichita.
That's really fair.
2 minutes
Essel on
for
the Doomfist was coming back right there. You know, that was that was a stall for the century. Almost made it to the millennium. 2 minutes, though, like you said.
They need a little bit more, unfortunately, for them, but now they're going to have way more time on the clock to actually get something going. 2 minutes to hold point A, maybe a bit of point B, depending on how far Wichita is going to be able to make it. And Wichita, again, like, it's not like they're not putting up a fight. They're definitely getting through these defenses. They're definitely making good plays and intelligent plays as well. You know, that last fight, using the Blizzard to force out the Immortality Field and then the Graviton afterwards to really lock up those last kills. All of those things, they are thinking about the order of execution, the order of handling things. Yeah, it's just happening correctly, right? And that's fine. You know, that is a part of what makes teams function, is to have an order of execution, to know what you actually have to do. And what your win conditions are. It's just that Rochester has a slightly better idea of how to adapt if the order of execution doesn't work out. They don't have to go in with a set plan. They know all the variables and all the variations, and they're able to communicate those correctly to each other.
The adaptations, that's what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm with it. I'm with it. Rotations to the left side so far. Bam damage down the middle. Opted on top of tractor trailer. Link FD out. Link FD's hit a fire strike on the 3 people so far. Kinda keeping that theme alive. Falcon Man from the top. No huge engagements quite so far. Wichita really playing this much more passively and pensively than Rochester did earlier. They do not, like, they've invested 30 seconds, but they also don't want to invest a lot and then lose 30 seconds on respawn, so this does make sense. While out, Essel leading the progress from the right side for the time being. There's a big window from Steed so far to have gotten this. Link FD is spitting distance away from that shatter and not gonna get it. That's exactly what was needed. That's exactly what the doctor ordered. Manic Class has been talking all day long about how Link FD been getting that shatter before Fluffy but Deadly, but this is the first team fight here, and Link FD is not getting an opportunity to shatter that one down, and they get the first point.
Yeah, I mean, Fluffy but Deadly still doesn't have their shatter, but they don't need it because they don't have to contest with Link.
That's
and they'll get it for the next one.
That's why we have color commentators.
What is very impressive about it, though, is that Rochester still manages to be ahead in the ult economy. Almost all of them have their ultimates, and they lost that fight. Like, that's almost scary if you think about it.
That's kind of indicative of the close
see if that actually
close spawn, like
see
far
if it
spawn,
matters.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Essel's got it. Blizzard from blue, that's Wichita State out first. Down Bear invested as well, it's not going to get a whole lot done. Both Immortality Fields done, and Fluffy but Deadly takes out his counterpart. Headshots and more onto the entirety of the tank lines. Again, we'll call that the tank line 2.5 with the Zarya and the Reinhardt and the May on the end. 30 seconds, Wichita State will have another push at this. But what will they do with it? That is the question.
Well, they did just throw out 5 ultimates on the side of Rochester. Maybe they thought that was going to be the only fight they got, but this is going to be a fast one. So Kellic Gil hopefully gets that Graviton online, otherwise they have to do with the Shatter and the High Noon. It's a good combo, and they're even used separately quite well. They need to find the opening. They need to find the place to get in and not get pushed away.
Oh, I was going to say split the attention here. Send Dynamite elsewhere and force the wall to go up elsewhere, and then Shatter. Not gonna happen. Choco Man pulls it out right here and gets it against Dynamite. Wait, how did... okay, there's probably just a UI difference, my bad. Rochester gets everything there. Okay, now I actually desperately need to know. That said, Choco Man was on the left side of the High Noon. Unless McCree has gotten Deflect, I'm not sure how that one works.
No, so Dynamite High Noon, but Choco Man got also High Noon. So they both did, but Choco Man got the angle on Dynamite before Dynamite got the angle on Choco. So, you know, they both used it. And Choco just got out of it, got like the advantage on that because
like
of the
ended
angles.
it first. I feel you.
Yeah, it's just how it works sometimes. It's unfortunate for Dynamite because they actually did a good job of speeding Dynamite around the wall and actually into line of sight of the enemy. But then Coach Choco Man was just ready, and that's just how it is sometimes. Unfortunately, Rochester 4 minutes 50 to capture point A and a little bit of point B. Still have to do it though. 2 CP is not a done deal just yet. 4 minutes 50 is more than double the time they used last time they get this much. So I'm very optimistic for Rochester. Not so much for Wichita, but again, Wichita has been surprising us in the later maps as opposed to Oasis.
Entirely fair. It is entirely fair to say that Wichita has put up a completely different performance since game 1. Yes, this is a situation where Wichita is staring down the barrel of a 0-3, but that is not a situation of them just giving up and going quietly into the night by any means. Wichita now on defense, they'll have a very stacked Herculean effort in front of them. Now off the middle here. Classic kind of positioning, kind of staturing, kind of trying to find out the other VP Link. Out initially, not going to be enough. Link FD done. Wichita State is held on to the beginning. Rochester knows exactly what they need to do, and that is not push without a main tank. Class.
Good on Wichita to take down a main tank early. Fluffy but deadly ahead in the fire in a Shatter Ult charge. It's a historic moment, people. We see it for the first time right here. See if they can maintain that lead and get that first Shatter out, because Link will 100% be surprised by that one.
Entirely fair. Fire strikes first, as is tradition. Fluffy but deadly swinging away. Vessel down. Wichita State still holding strong. Do love to see it. Progress, but not going to be enough. Now what? This is a full minute to lead it off the top, and Rochester still has no, like, advantage here at all.
They're starting to get some ultimates online, but they did use their application matrix, but so did Seed. So I think it's still trading quite evenly, as well as an ult percentage it is. So it's all going to be about who makes that mistake. I think both teams are very good at executing their movements right now and executing their counters, etc. It's who makes that first mistake, either to reaction or initiates too early. So far, it has usually been Wichita, but Rochester, you just as easily make that mistake by being overconfident.
Gotta say, very smart from Wichita to rotate around the other side. Esso was literally waiting them. Oh my goodness, the Shatter lands, but that is not gonna be enough. Nobody there to back up that damage. Link FD just must not have realized there was a wall behind him. Now the grab out, and that is everything in a bag of chips for the side of Wichita. They are just outside their own team kill bill. We're not gonna be rewarded with it, mana class.
So far, Rochester just coming up empty. They're just coming up empty. That's all they're doing. And they have the ultimates to work with this time around because they didn't use much in that last fight. But Wichita still has plenty in the bank. It's going to be an even fight in every single way. They're just answering ult for ult and kill for kill and coming out on top.
If they're tracking well, Essel's got to know that Flexecution's not far away from it. Chalk Man starting this one off. Dynamite has it, but not going to utilize it quite so far. Soundbearer now for actual Dynamite falling to his counterpart. Well done on that. A charge and more. Rochester has 0.1 mana class.
This is 0.1 over, done and dusted, and now it's all going to be up to point B. 2.5 minutes to take that first tick, and Rochester plenty of time to do it. I mean, they used about half their time bank, a little bit more to get that first point, but they get about half of it back, so they're all good for 230. Looking at it, though, they only have that amplification matrix, which is a great ultimate. You can definitely get some kills with it. Still hard to initiate with.
Freeze out, the Blizzard action, not 100%. Okay, so they get picks with it, they get value with it, but didn't seem like it was 100% necessary quite so far. This is Rochester losing this this next push. Talk to me a little bit about that usage.
It was aggressive usage, and that's what I think I like about it. Is we said before that they wanted to initiate, but either missed their timing, or it wasn't, or the reaction of Rochester was good. And these initiations are starting to get better and better and better. That's how they got their attacks off, and now they're getting their good defenses off as well by taking that initiative away from Rochester. They're making the first move. They're throwing a lot of wrenches in their plans. That's exactly what Wichita needs to do.
Exactly. If I'll go ahead and say it, Rochester has been playing fantastic this whole time, but markedly better improvements has been Wichita State. That's Fluffy getting taken in here. There's the Immortality Field to keep that dream alive. Fluffy but deadly falling. Kellic following suit. ZP Link gets the Immortality Field out, but that's it. Link FD, the first loss for the side of Rochester. It's gonna be a hard one as Dynamite trying to find damage and edgewise. Blue Jays super low, but that is not gonna be enough. Stall tactics now gonna have to be utilized for the side of Wichita. There's a grab, nobody else there to try and get this damage out. High Noon out, Flexecution done, Kellic taken as well, and Rochester Institute of Technology keeps its standard, keeps the same song sung across now 46 maps.
Yeah.
Check the numbers on that one.
I mean, wait, 45 plus 3, right? So it'd be 48 now?
Whew. There it is. That's the play-by-play
48 maps, 16 wins. That's how we do. It's all how it is. I mean, it's a shame that last Graviton definitely had the potential to maybe pull that back, but unfortunately they couldn't follow up on it. Get 1 or 2 kills out of that, that's a completely different story, but unfortunately Rochester had the consolidation to keep it alive, didn't get taken down that easily, and they're still in the 3-0, they're still almost undefeated, only 2 maps dropped. They're going to be happily transferring through to the next playoff stage. That's exactly where they need to be and where they should be with this performance.
Entirely fair. Entirely fair. It would be a travesty onto humanity if a team 15-0, now 16-0, did not make it to the playoffs. We're going to be heading on. What is this next? So we get a flash of the schedule, please, Mr. Producer Man. We'll talk about what you guys can be expecting here next. Yes, that is William and Mary, our 11th seed from the Independent Conference, 6-9, taking on your Marist College squad, the top-rated MAAC competitor at 12-2. Fantastic stuff. Yeah. We'll be back with that in just a little bit. Man of Class, did you have something else for the good people?
No. It's going to be a very short break before we get an interview in with the winner team, of course. So Rochester, stay tuned for that. See who we get. See how much fun that talk's going to be.
And we are back. We tell no lies here at the EGFC. FBI tugboat here. The shifty head over there, that's Man of Class. Oh, I pointed the right way, Juke. You see that? We got Essel here coming in, give us a little bit of his time interview-wise after the game. A 3-0 fashion as well. Essel, you with me?
Yep.
Very nice, very nice. Glad to come on in, and congratulations on the W. You're 16th as a team, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, 16-0.
16-0, baby. Man of Class got a couple questions for you. I'll round you out, and we'll get you on out of here.
Yeah, it's very simple, right? You guys 16-0, only lost 2 maps out of 48. That's now in total. I mean, are you guys stoppable?
Well, let's see. Remains to be seen. I don't want to say anything and have it come back at me.
Politician answer.
Yeah.
Always fun to see what comes up out of that one, honestly. Sometimes teams are super confident, sometimes they're like, we'll see where the shit lands. But
I'd rather not jinx myself and see where that goes.
Look, that's a start. As people who are very familiar with caster cursing, I think Tugboat and me can agree with that statement. Now,
Very fair.
obviously, there was a lot of May play from you today, also a little bit of Tracer here and there. Have you been enjoying playing May lately?
Yeah, I love playing Mei. You know, when I can sap the fun out of the enemy team, it just goes right to me.
You stole my
Right.
line there, Essel.
Yeah. I mean, when you wall Orion off and you see him turn around and see the desperation in his eyes, that's the real fun of playing Mei.
The death of
Can
hope in the
attest.
eyes of his main tank opponents. There you go. You heard it here first, everybody. Fantastic stuff. Essel, I want to ask, this might be a little bit of an obvious question, but as far as you and your play, do you really feel like today was kind of a more standard gameplay from your squad? Again, just recounting scores for everybody. Oasis was a complete stomp 2-0, 100 to 0 on both of those maps. 3-2, much, much closer on a map number 2. That was Nambani. Volskaya had a little bit of leeway back and forth, but ultimately you guys did take it out 3-2. So, back to my question, do you feel like this is a standard performance?
Yeah, I feel like we did pretty standard. We though Wichita are a great opponent. They pushed us really a lot. I don't think the map score reflects how good of a game it was between us and them. They had really good rotations, made it really hard to land as clean of walls. You can see I messed up walls here and there, but they were
Happens.
really clean on their rotations, had good pushes. I think they're a really solid team overall, and it really brought us out too. So I think we played good, and I think they played really well too.
I'm with it. I'm with it. In this
Mhm.
case, pressure makes diamonds. Love to hear it. Want to ask, you're
Cool.
moving into the playoffs, correct? We got this confirmed earlier. You have played your last game of the regular season of the EGFC. Is this correct?
Yes.
Playoffs wise, who are you looking to play? Who's going to give you the most
Uh,
flack?
Wichita is really strong. I'm looking to finally go up against Marist too, if we can. Uh, they're always fun to go up against, or they haven't gone up against them yet, but I know
Mhm.
Doorknob and we've known each other for a while, so I'm looking to face them.
Got it. Got it. We'll be looking at Marist College next. You might want to tune into our stream. You'll see these beautiful faces and this beautiful production. Appreciate you, Estel, for coming on and giving us a minute of your time after the game. Can I give us a little bit of insight in RIT?
For having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Winners only here in the interview box. FBI Tugboat here. Mana class over there. I did it again. Juke is producing away, making our jobs as casters just so much easier. We'll be back with you. That's Marriage College and William and Mary, right, Mana class?
That's correct. Marist versus William and Mary got the MAs out of there, but I'm looking forward to that one because obviously William and Mary is still finding their way back, trying to get into that top 10. Mary